This is the brand new Fujifilm GFX100RF.
Fujifilm has packed their 100 megapixel medium format sensor into this new form factor. This is the GFX100RF, which is a rangefinder style camera.
Now, I've been so excited about this camera. I've been waiting for this to come out for like a year, 2 years. I didn't know anything about it, but you can see the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of unique features that make this a compelling option. There's some things that surprised us, some things that they didn't include to fit this form factor. And so we're gonna give you our very first impressions of this new release from Fujifilm.
But let's talk about the design first of this camera.
Yeah, there's some interesting things here. The first being the entire top plate is a solid piece of aluminum that they've milled into this cool design. There's a lot of really narrow, interesting edges to it.
And how long does it take to mill that piece of aluminum?
So it's a 5-hour plus process. So this sounds very similar to the new release that we had with Sigma, the Sigma BF, where the entire camera was one piece milled of aluminum. So there must be some new technology that's been brought into Japan for these cameras, because this definitely seems to be a theme for 2025 so far.
But everything is milled. All the controls, all the dials are milled. Even the hot shoe cover is milled. The front cap is milled.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it just gives it a nice premium feel to it. I mean, this is kind of the main core design of the camera. All of the dials, all of the control and everything is on this plate. And so it's cool to see. Now, if you bring your hand down to the rest of the camera, we do have kind of a leatherette finish to it. It has a nice feel to it, a nice grip as well. Now, it isn't super thick, of course, because they wanted to keep this camera very compact, almost pocketable, depending on, you know, the size of your pockets. You have Dave's size, like, winter jacket pockets. You can pretty much fit anything in it.
Anything in there, yeah.
But they really wanted to keep this as like a compact camera.
Yeah, but there are a lot of new design choices to it. At first glance, when you look at it, you think, oh, it's an X100 on steroids. And to some degree, I can agree with that. It certainly is. Everything sort of stepped up. But there are some new design choices they've done on this, including some of the dials and controls and a new control on the front. It is a very compact medium format camera, and it does come in about 735 grams, which is pretty lightweight for what we're getting here.
Yeah, for the full package, you know, it's not a bad weight. It definitely still has that substantial feel to it. Like, I keep thinking to myself that this definitely has that, like, that premium weight to it. Even though when you first look at it, the shape of it and everything, you're like, what is this, you know? Like, I think that's something that we're gonna see a lot of people, you know, on the street with these cameras. It's gonna be a conversation piece for sure.
I mean, Fuji has always done a great job of making these really aesthetically pleasing retro style cameras, and this continues with this particular camera.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it has the dials on the top of the camera. Everything's a little bit more tightly laid out, but we have things like the ISO dial on the top, where it's the same kind of idea as previous X-series cameras, where you like lift it up and turn it. We have the exposure compensation, and then we have some customizable features as well, and some new levers that have some interesting functionality.
Yeah, so now that we have you know, this massive resolution of this sensor, we have a new dial on the back here, which is kind of prominent on the back, which allows us to change our aspect ratios. So we can go from 16:9, 17:6, 3:4, 4:3, right? And there's
square, 1:1.
There's a square. There's a ton of different formats that you can shoot, but the way they've implemented it is really quite nice.
Yeah, it's cool. And this is where Dave said there's that like really premium kind of custom machining that we're seeing. They really wouldn't be able to do that kind of thing with a stamp process, is what Fujifilm told us.
Now we have several really trick features on this camera that are tactile and are easy to work with. So even with my eye up to the viewfinder, I can find them with my fingers and make work with it. Beneath the control dial on the front finger here is a digital teleconverter switch, which allows you to toggle in between several different resolutions and basically zoom in digitally what you want to look at. And if you change the aspect wheel here, you see exactly what you're getting. Now, the feature that I quite like is their surround view. So as I'm doing my different aspect ratios, or if I'm doing the digital zoom, it grays out the area that's not being recorded as part of the JPEG. But if you're shooting in RAW plus JPEG, the entire width of the sensor is being recorded. So you always have that as a backup from what you're actually shooting.
Yeah, this is kind of cool because it does give you those reference points, and then you have control about how you're shooting and how you're doing your composition. So I think it gives some interesting flexibility. I don't know if that's something that people have been really looking for, but Fujifilm obviously found it was important because they're basically dedicating 2 of these dials to work with those controls so that you can set it up the way you want. The other thing with this camera is, of course, it has access to 20 of the film simulations. So the idea of this is kind of interesting because we have like the top quality, you know, 100 megapixel sensor, someone that really wants that resolution, the detail, the dynamic range that you get from this sensor, but it's packed into a camera that almost has the ability to do things like straight out of camera. So you can work with the film simulations, there's access to 20 of them, and then also work with the different aspect ratios. So you potentially can shoot and go directly to your computer or to your smartphone using the Frame.io app.
Yeah, and because Fujifilm's been around for so long and they're so good with their film simulations, they're really the only camera that actually play around with the film simulations with.
Yeah. Yeah, now my favorite feature on this camera, and I think it's just because I've been missing this for some other releases recently, is the absolutely gorgeous high magnification electronic viewfinder. To me, for a really good photography experience, I need to have a good electronic viewfinder, and this delivers with a 5.76 million dot 100 frame per second refresh rate EVF, and it's 0.84 in magnification. And I'm finding that this has very good eye relief. It has a nice big diopter. I think it's the biggest diopter wheel that we've seen on a camera. So when Dave and I are passing it back and forth, we're able to customize it to our own vision. And I'm finding that this is fantastic. And if you're someone that also likes to compose using a screen, you like to shoot from the hip, whatever, we have this articulating screen. So it pulls out and it's a tiltable articulating screen, and Fujifilm has done a good job of implementing that. It's nice and flush with the camera when you're not using it, although it isn't fully articulating, and that you can like turn it around to protect it or to be able to do some video features or like selfies with it. I think that the implementation of this screen and the EVF provide a fabulous shooting experience in that regard.
I mean, it keeps the camera nice and slick and really nice and pleasing to look at without any things protruding. Having that extra degree of articulation with the screen is just going to make the camera that much thicker.
Yeah.
And so I'm okay with it. In this camera, typically I really like the fully articulating screen. I seem to be okay with it with this camera.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix for sure. No, we can't talk about this camera without mentioning some of the things that are a little bit surprising. Now, we are going to get into some of the features and performance a little bit later on, but first of all, I do want to point out that we are pretty stacked in terms of ports. We have a headphone jack, a microphone jack, we have a hot shoe, we have a USB-C port, and we have a micro HDMI port. Now, on the memory card side, we do have a UHS-2 SD memory card slot. We have 2 of them, actually.
2 of them, right? So for some redundancy.
Yes. And we have
100 megapixel files.
Yeah, we have Fujifilm's good battery as well. W235. Yeah.
W235.
So we have a nice juicy battery here.
And the battery life is actually pretty good out of this. 870 frames, I believe they said in the.
Yeah.
Right? So that's pretty impressive for a camera like this that's putting through that much data.
Yeah, and one thing that is also very cool is that in the box it was full of stuff.
Oh.
Like so many things. We have a beautiful strap, Dave.
Yeah, how many times have you people bought a camera and decided, man, I really would like a nice strap or
like
an accessory?
A good strap. Like this is a gorgeous rope strap with the leatherette finish. Protect your neck. It says Fujifilm on it. Very aesthetic, beautiful.
I mean, and straight out of the box, this camera is weather sealed here, but the lens itself is not weather sealed. And if you've been running an X100 series body, you know you have to buy some accessories to make it weather resistant.
Yeah.
Now, they include everything in this kit. There's no additional accessories to buy for this camera. When you buy this camera, you get all the accessories for it, which is really quite cool.
So you get the adapter ring, you get the UV filter, you get the really nice metal cap, and it does add to the profile of the camera once you attach everything, which we'll show you here. Now that we have all the stuff on the lens, great job, Dave, assembling all the accessories. But you know what, we can put the strap away for now. We are going to use that strap though because it is gorgeous.
It is a premium strap. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk about this lens because this is actually a new lens from Fujifilm that is purpose-built for this sensor.
It's a 35mm f4 lens, the 28mm equivalent f3.2.
Yeah, not a bad pairing, definitely for the sensor and for the concept of this camera. I mean, obviously for medium format, I would have loved to see something with a little bit shallower depth of field, but in terms of GFX lenses, we're talking about increasing the optics, getting really big glass, and so to keep this like low profile small camera, they went with something more compact.
Yeah, I mean, even though it's a very compact lens, there is 10 elements in there and several ED elements and spherical elements, everything to make the image quality as best as possible to match up that 100 megapixel sensor.
We also have a built-in ND filter,
Super
which is very handy. Of course, again, getting into video and that kind of thing, it is going to be handy to have that built in, as well as doing like landscapes of waterfalls when have motion and that kind of thing. It's nice to have the built-in ND filter. You don't have to bring a bunch of extra stuff with you. So although this isn't an image stabilized sensor, there's no in-body image stabilization to this. I was quite pleasantly surprised that they've incorporated a leaf shutter, which is a very quiet and it's a nice shutter to work with. Now, one of the cool things with it is that you can shoot up to 1/4000th of a second when you're shooting in mechanical, or if you're shooting electronic, you can shoot up to 1/16,000th of a second. And this is kind of handy, you know, if you're syncing strobes, you want to be able to shoot into the sun, you get some pretty nice effects with that. And I think it's a nice inclusion with this camera.
I mean, most cameras on the market will flash up to 200th of a second or so, and there's a few exceptions, but generally it's been like hovering around 200th of a second. Being able to sync your flash up to 4,000th of a second allows for shooting outdoor portraits when you want to control the ambient light of the sun so much better and more effectively. It's a fantastic feature.
Yeah, now I'm finding that the shutter is kind of what I would consider to be a soft shutter, and because it is so quiet, it is kind of like a stealthy camera.
Now, even though this is something I wouldn't consider a sport shooting camera, it is capable of shooting 6 frames per second, which will really help you out on some street scenes and certain applications. That's nice to have that extra frame rate.
Yeah, and we're seeing that paired with Fujifilm's latest autofocus system, and Fujifilm is good with tracking. We're finding it works quite well. So this is the latest algorithms, Fujifilm's best technology that they have for GFX, and I think that a lot of people are going to find this quite responsive with the autofocus performance.
And with the subject detection tracking, I have no qualms with the autofocus whatsoever.
Yeah, it's nice implementation, and of course, because Fujifilm has the touch screen as well as some of the controls, and you also have the joystick, you have a lot of flexibility in terms of how you operate the camera, depending on your needs and how you want the autofocus system to perform.
Now, I'm primarily looking at these 100 megapixel cameras as still cameras, but let's talk about the video capabilities of this brand new camera.
Yeah, so Fujifilm in the last couple of years have really pushed the envelope in terms of what medium format cameras can do for video. This is also quite a capable video camera for the format. First of all, it is equipped, as we mentioned earlier, with the ports, the articulation with the screen. In terms of format, you can shoot 4K 30, not a ton of flexibility compared to some of the other GFX cameras, but it is nice that you get some good quality video out of the sensor, and of course paired with all these features and the video assist tools, you're getting a very compelling video option. I'm also impressed that they've maintained a lot of the video assist features. So we have vector scopes, waveforms, a lot of those tools that people have come to really appreciate and expect in cameras that can shoot high-end video. Now, as Dave was mentioning, we don't have all of the full modes that we had in the GFX100S2, but I think this camera is still very capable for video if you're the kind of person that wants to use this as like your everyday camera. And I think that's kind of what brings us to what is this camera all about? I think it's a phenomenal landscape camera. It would be great for travel. It's something that you can really pack with you where you want to have like the top resolution available. That 100 megapixel sensor is going to resolve really great detail. It's going to give you good dynamic range. And I think that there is definitely an audience out there that are going to desire something like this in a small form factor.
100%. I mean, we're looking at this. We've seen the success of Leica with the Leica Q3, for instance, right?
Yeah.
This has been a fantastic offering from Leica. High resolution, amazing quality lens, but it comes at certainly a premium price point. So there certainly is a market for this style of camera out there.
Yeah, and that's going to be where your choice is going to come from, right? Is do you want to invest your money in something like a Leica? You know, Fujifilm has kind of gone up into being like a premium camera brand as well. And so you have to kind of compare these two options in terms of what you're going to get out of it. Now, personally, I mentioned earlier that I would like to have seen maybe like a faster lens, something that can provide a little bit more shallow depth of field to really realize the full potential of the medium formats. And seeing the Leica camera when you stack them together, it makes me kind of wonder of which one I would choose because it's going to be a tough decision.
100%. I mean, you also, you know, with Fuji, if you want that medium format 100 megapixel file, you can buy the GFX100 Mark II and put their 50mm 1.7 on there, right? You can have something equivalent to that. So they're very interesting cameras. Fujifilm, I think, has done an amazing job with the design of this camera, but the functionality of it has been working really well. The more I play around with it, the more I get more in tune with it, and I like the tactile controls. But ultimately, you know, you're paying a premium for this style of camera, and you got to really like that focal length. But Fuji has done a better job, I think, than Leica when it comes to the aspect ratios. I think there's a lot more to them. Where the Leica has the ability to crop in and change your focal lengths digitally. I think Fuji's done a better job of it that way with a little bit more resolution.
Yeah, definitely the implementation of the performance and some of the features here with this Fujifilm GFX100RF. There's excitement here. I'm really excited to see what people's reactions are to this camera because I think it is a unique offering. We haven't seen something exactly like this on the market yet. And that brings me to say, I want to know your thoughts on this. This is a very interesting offering from Fujifilm, a compact GFX. Like, look at how much has changed in the last few years with GFX. Is quite amazing. I'm excited about this. I know Dave is, but we want to know what your thoughts are by commenting below.
And are you as excited about this and can't wait to get it out in the real world and put it through its paces? Follow us both on Instagram.
And if you're new to our channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's been Dave and Evelyn from the Camera Store. We'll catch you again very soon.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you want to check out more of our recent content, click up here. And if you're a Canadian, you want to support local, check out thecamerastore.com down here.